Hello everybody and welcome to Let's Build live from Oak Hill Works. How are we all doing this evening? I hope you are well. And yes, I'm not too bad, thanks Paderborn. Bit tired from a long day stood having barbecue food. But other than that, pretty good. So yes, welcome. We are back with the O class. We are very nearly done. It's looking really good actually, isn't it? And good evening, Alexander. How are you? I hope you are well. Today we are going to use what can only be considered gold dust currently in handrail knobs. Brand new, steel sealed. If anyone wants to offer me £1,000 for a pack, they can. And good evening, Jacob. How are you? I hope you are well. Evidently, well, I'm still not sponsored by anyone, but if I were, I would tell you that my usual DCC chip supplier, CM3 Models, have started stocking Allen Gibson products and have handrail knobs in stock for those of you that don't have any. Not the ones I've got though, because I've got Phoenix Precision ones for those that were being observant. But so there is a source out there where you can get them. Because I know there's still none on eBay or anything. Proof being nearly done. Yes, it is great. I approve of new handrail knobs. Again, they are great. Yes. The amount of time I've not had enough to do a loco with. I'm right, folks. Played Big Train Chef Parts Day. Met our new resident. Yes, I saw that. And I saw you had a video of it running, which was awesome. Good to see that it does indeed work. Do they have that new brass smell? They do have that new brass smell, yeah, they do. Sponsorship, the start of a slippery slide. Well, so far no one is sponsoring me, so we're all good there. Good evening, Heritage Railway Productions. How are you this evening? I hope you are well. I'm going to start with a pack of each. I've got some medium ones and some short ones. And when I run out one of these, I've got another pack of each. We've also got to put the smoke box door handle on. I keep forgetting to do that. It's been sat there for as long as I've had the loco. We're doing reviews next. Never. I would never review anything. That is a dirty lie, Paderborn. One of these packs has been opened and I want to use that one really. It's this one. This one has been opened, not that you'd know. Other than toothache that I've had all day, I'm alright, thank you. Hope you are as well. Toothache sucks. I hope that gets better quickly. Go to the dentist. Because, yes, go to the dentist. I just realised it's Yankee Day today. It is. It's also my niece's birthday. Which I feel is much more important than American Independence Day. Quite why we have a day to celebrate a film, I'll never know. So yeah, despite the staple and everything through this pack has been opened. So we're going to reopen it. And we're going to open the other sides as well. And for those wondering why I'm opening them so carefully and pulling the staples apart, I don't want them to rip the bag so I can continue to use the bags. There's a lot of commands getting in there, Jacob. You're either remembering them better than me, or they're ones I have on the website and you're looking at it. It's been a while since I've updated that page. I really should do it. So these are my short ones. These are my medium ones. Short ones in the smoke box. Medium ones down the boiler. Short ones on the tank. The tender. I can get the right words, honest. It's Yankee Day, there's a hint of propane in the air from all the grilling. There's a page on there is the one that the second link I'm going to get that's posted from the chat bot there. I have a page that in theory lists all the commands, but I haven't updated it for so long that it's kind of useless. I also have some nice bits of brass. One of them's bent. That are the perfect size for sliding through handrail knobs. Which is quite ideal for doing this job. And I have a thing to put glue on. God, useless nothing. I would indeed need a new hose. What you will really need, Javier, is rather than a new hose, is charcoal and to barbecue things properly. Not none of this propane rubbish. Who are we? Hank Hill? No, I'm not going to try and do his voice because I can't do a Texan accent. And good evening, Linny. I wasn't expecting to see you this early. How are you? I hope you are well and home. There we go, see? Just the right size. Talking more my speed, Gary. Excellent, that's what I like to hear. Damp and home. Home is good. Damp, not as much. One, two, three, four medium ones. In theory, I put these all on here and I can glue them in and then know that they are facing the right way. At least that's the theory. Good evening, Joseph, the Midland 4F. How are you this evening? I hope you are well. That one doesn't look like its hole's punched very well. Let's see just how not well. There we go. Doing good. Excellent. That is what I like to hear. But yes, so as it's been mentioned, happy Independence Day to all those Americans out there. Well done on beating those aliens. We're all very proud of you. Even if you did have to use an Apple Mac to do it. There we go. That one doesn't want to go on, obviously. It will do though, look, it's just here. We don't lose things on this live stream, as I've explained before. This is why we have a white desk rather than a mauve desk. And there is the bot wanting to remind everyone to smash that like button. Or give it a gentle tap if you prefer. Whilst you're down there, if you're not already subscribed, then please do subscribe and ring the notification bell so you get alerted whenever I upload a video or go live. One day I'll get some of those videos that I've got filmed, edited and out there for you. The holes on this loco are not quite enough, and look, there is Linny reminding us that hydration is also important. And Linny is of course correct with that. Hydration is so important, you should get a mug that says hydration is important on it. Exclamation mark merch in the chat. It's even got a nice terrier on the other side, which might look like that thing that's behind the mug. Well, hey. It took the effort it took to get all those on. I don't want to take them off again. Yeah, it is going in. But yeah, even though I said I was going to take these you use this to line them up and make sure they're all pointing the right way. It might very well end up staying. You drilled out all the knob holes. I just did it. Look, the drill's here, Tom. I just did it. And how are you this evening, Tom? I just tuned in. Yeah, I figured, by the way, that you asked. Naught point nine. Yes, something like that. I measured it against the side of the handrail knob. So in theory it's the right size. There we go, look, one perfect, exactly cut to length handrail. Exactly as it was on the real thing. Good news is I can get all those from the inside to apply glue. As I said, although I was only using this to make sure they all went on there straight, I think I'm actually going to leave that in place, cut it down and apply some glue to that. Because of how someone forgot to turn his phone on silent. I can't imagine who that was. Just because of how hard it was to get all the handrail knobs on there in place. There's the silent button. Jousting included locos, indeed. True gentleman's sport, so I'm told. What we're going to do now is the other side. One short one, 4 long ones. Reminds me I need to put my hand around the holes on my bug. Yes, yes you do. They are important. There we go. Oh, So now we can get the handrails on this side threaded. Oh right, yeah. I definitely wasn't looking for the pliers that I'm holding in my hand so that I could attempt to do something like that with them whilst also using them there. There we are. Definitely didn't bend the brass there either. Or there either. It's all going really well, this. Now I'm going to need to file that down. Otherwise we won't get any of them through it. Or hit through them even. You know what, until this evening I actually forgot that was a command. Which shows how good I am with my commands. It is a good command, you're right. But I obviously need to update that page on the website just to remind myself of all the commands. Never mind anything else. I'm wondering now if there's commands on that page that don't exist anymore, because there are certainly commands that used to be listed on there that I have disabled. I've twisted that too far now, I can't see the hole at all. Only one more to get on there. No, that one was nice and easy. And then we shall drill out all these holes again if you hadn't guessed. Nice and easy, wasn't that shampoo? It might have been, but I wouldn't know. Oh no! I snapped the thing off the safety valves for definitely the first time that's ever happened on this loco. I definitely haven't snapped that off before. I can relate as well. Don't know what you mean, Javier. The question is, can I glue it on quite as nicely this second time where the crack doesn't show and neither does any glue? The handrail all the way in. Snip it off again. And we have handrails down both sides. And a safety valve that's perfectly fine, and I don't know what you mean. No, James. Just no. That is my response to that. It's a bit flat along the top of my anvil, isn't it? This bit is supposed to be curved. You know what, that's not too bad. Can I just say how much I love the 3-foot rule since you introduced it to me? It's a good rule, isn't it? I prefer my version of the rule though, Javier. A blind man on a galloping horse from 200 foot away can't tell it's wrong, then it's right. I've bent it all out of shape again doing that. And now I've got a flat top on it again. Free for all, scale or reel, what you can't very well see from horse thing. Yeah, so the rule, James, is if you can't see that it's wrong, if you can't see it's wrong from 3 foot away, 3 real feet, then you don't need to worry about it. That's better. Again. I like to look at my models from closer than 1 metre, right? Well, yes, and obviously it doesn't apply to all circumstances, but when you think about watching layouts at exhibitions and such forth, how often are you closer than 1 metre to a static model on an N-gauge layout? Or on a exhibition layout, even in N-gauge. And we all know N-gauge is invisible, James, and is a lie. So I'm glad to see you're acknowledging that N-gauge cannot be seen. And good evening, Kevin. I am indeed disgustingly healthy and disease-free. I hope you are too. We still don't lose things. Don't think I've quite filed that down enough. Whenever I can be. Yeah, but how often does that happen? Not to suggest less than desired quality fuels. Of course not. And of course, the 3-foot rule is not a rule I invented. It is a rule that I was told. But obviously not everyone does or should follow that rule. As I say, I much prefer my version of the rule. Exhibitions, are they not just legends? They are, at this point. Although, that reminds me, hang on. I'm glad we're having this conversation. Uckfield Model Railway Exhibition, 16th and 17th of October 2021. I have this flyer because it's going ahead. So, you know, there's the details, everyone. Note them down. Had 2 vaccines by then. Excellent. I have already had 2 vaccines. They're great. I have completed my collection of nanobots and have felt no side effects no long-term side effects whatsoever by Microsoft. Can't even book bus tickets that far into the future. But there we go. Uckfield is happening. God, this really doesn't want to go through, does it? No, that end's definitely not. Let's see if I can file this end down better than I have filed the pre-curved end down. Because they've both been snipped, and that was very silly of me to snip both ends. Everyone, I have no side effects at all. Oh dear, Patterborn. Oh dear. There's already 2 O's in nanobot, it's fine. There we go, they are both on. Doesn't want to go past there for some reason. Rather worried I was going to pull that too far. And it was going to come on. I haven't drilled the holes yet, have I? Can't book a train that far. I mean, is it worth booking something that far forward whilst we're going ahead? You know, that is on the proviso that we don't have a massive resurgence and are all shut down again by then. Although I suppose if we're all shut down again by then, you'll be able to get a refund on your travel. You heard everything sounds Going back to situation normal. I have, yes. I'll leave my tone of voice to do all the talking for my opinions there before we cross the politics rule. And there we go, that's another set of handrail knobs in. Boo, stinky politics. Exactly, Javier. It's definitely best we keep them away from the live stream because they are very stinky. And the bot says, remember, hydration is still important. It doesn't actually make it still, but, you know, it is. So, there we go. Handrails. On the front, down the sides of the boiler. Oh, I'm told that the ones on the side of the cab, some had and some didn't. And since I have no pictures of this exact loco, and there are no holes there as guide holes, I'm not gunning because I won't get them straight. But what we need now is some handrails on the tank side. That's the bag I was after. Mini anvil can go away, we're done with it now. And good evening, Red, how are you? I hope you are well. Saves you a couple of precious handrail knobs there, you're welcome. Thank you, Tom, it's very much appreciated. I am glad to hear you are well, Red. That is good. Can one tell me, anyone out there, why, after a day of rain, is my hay fever hitting me when I'm inside at night? I still need to get some handrail stuff for my loco. Well, I have found a place that has handrail knobs. So handrail knobs are now available again. Same reason I've just started sneezing. As long as it's not just me, it seems a random time for my hay fever to hit me. But knowing you up north, you've probably still got blooming daylight, haven't you? You get a lot more of it than us down here. But yes, so for those that don't know, CM3 models who I use for my decoders have started stocking the Allen Gibson range and have handrail knobs in stock. I am not sponsored by them. Sun doesn't set here for another 13 minutes. See? It is pitch black outside here. In fact, it was pitch black before I bloomin' started streaming. Yeah, our sunset's about 45 minutes after. Yeah, blooming stealing all the daylight. It's raining heavily here now, very dark. It's not raining here at the moment. Please don't send it this way. I am east and south, so my sun has set. Yeah, but you're north from me. You're all north from me. Except our Americans. Of Oak Hill members on the Oak Hill community members on the east side of the Atlantic, I am the furthest south. And I'm not convinced you're any further east than me either, James. There we go. They're all in. this off before the bend on this side. Pull it right through. Cut it off again and see if we've got enough on this one to do the other side. That looks like almost the perfect length to me. Honestly, it wouldn't be better if I'd have planned it. It's not going to focus, but you can see. Just silly focus and lack of. No, they're the wrong ones. These ones. I'm in Wales, so I'm west of you, I believe. This is starting to look like geography lesson. Yes, very much west of me. As I am south of London. Pretty sure there are some parts of London that are directly north of me. Does that mean you're on the south coast? It does, pretty much. I am about 10 miles from the sea. I grew up in Eastbourne and have not moved far from it. Haha, they are all on. Now we can sort the other side of the tender, which doesn't look as good without its lining. You, except on a stormy day. Oh, what? The storms don't ever hit us too bad. Eastbourne is very well protected from the weather in general. Which definitely had downsides as well when I was growing up. we'd see very little snow, so we'd very rarely have days off of school because of snow. Yet another excuse to model. Oh, yeah. I don't need an excuse to model. It's my job these days. Which I hinted at having an announcement about last week, didn't I? So I had something important to say about work. And that is, at risk of people that don't know yet hearing it, that last week on Monday I spent some time interviewing people. To do my other job. So I have now hired someone to do my job with my company, which means modelling is my only job now. And that's a bit weird. Hydration is important. Yes, I am. Because on the O, the lining is under the handrails, so it's fine. That is all the handrails on. Weird but nice, yes. Yeah, I find it really weird that the lining is below the handrails as well, Lily. It's below the handrails but behind the springs. So weird. I am... My eyes are really sore now. Where has this hay fever come from? It's 10 o'clock at night. It's been raining all day. There should be nothing setting off my hay fever. Got to get this on as well. Smoke box door handle. Which I have a Comet one apparently. I can't remember where I got that from. Yeah, I can't remember why I got a Comet one. I don't usually use Comet for these. There must have not been any others. That falls together very nicely, actually. So, I am going to get some glue. Because whilst I could solder that, I'm not going to. course, the joys of using cardboard is that glue's nearly all gone already, soaking in. And those handles are way too long and definitely need cutting down. But right now, I'm just happy that they exist. I'll tell you what, that was nice and easy, that. So now we have a door dart. Which I'm going to stick a dab more glue onto the end of. And that is a slightly bigger hole. Isn't it? Yes. Not quite as big as the one in my other drill though. Oh good. I'm glad this... Oh, that's why. I picked up the wrong ones. That's the size we want. You're not getting a shampoo command, James. It's not happening. No, you are slightly too small for this one. You'll have to go in the small one. There we go. Look at that smoke box dart. No, no, James. You're not getting one at all, ever. And that's all there is to it. Get back in there. There we go. And this can go back in here. But yes, we're almost completely out of details to add to this. Of course, still needs its springs adding to the tender sides. It's still got more lining to do. But that's it really. That it needs a crew and it needs some coal. So I'm going to put some more glue on my bit of cardboard. And start gluing these details in place. Starting with that one because it fell out. So we can get all the handrail knobs down the boiler from the inside. So we will. Can't make a mess if you're putting on the... Well, can't make a visible mess if you're putting on the glue somewhere invisible. That one doesn't look like it's in properly. And there we go, you'd never know it was broken. And now we just need to do the ones on the tender, which we cannot get to from the inside. So we'll be doing as a tiny amount of glue individually onto each one. And then we still need to stick the actual handrails. That's too much. That's better. And so when sticking the handrails, I usually just glue to each end rather than to each and every handrail knob. Because if the end ones can't move, neither can the ones in the middle. At least that's the theory. So there we go, that is the handrails in place. Once you just look to that little bit more locally now. Oh, for better ability to adjust the white balance. Wouldn't that be wonderful? Let's try it, shall we? I probably shouldn't put that over the chat box. Let's see if I can adjust the white balance live. I can, look at that. I assume you're all seeing that change. And look at that, you can really see the lining on there now, can't you? That's much better than it was. So there we go. Streamlabs does allow me some degree of balancing of colour. I can even adjust the brightness, look. Let's put it back where it was. I think I'm going to leave that there, that colour balance there though. That does look better. Wouldn't you agree? We're not 100% there, but I think it's much better, personally. You know what a good way to tell is? Let's have a close look at this. What colour is this locomotive? Definitely better. Could do with being slightly less yellow, but before was much too blue. Black. Ah, so it is not black. Dark green. Dark green. Yes, it is dark green. Now, I don't think it's not as dark as it appears on camera. Anyone else having extremely warm night? It's just me. No, it's extremely warm. But yes, she's painted in Stroudley Goods green. Unimproved engine green. That's the one. Yes. So yes, she's green. You can. There was enough people there that could tell it's green, so that's an improvement. Looking brownish, but I'm not the one to ask. Well, no, obviously you're not. I'm well aware you're not. You're colourblind. Right. These medium handrail knobs want to go back with their packaging that says they're medium handrail knobs. So now it looks like a brand new pack again. And these short ones want to go back with this pack that tells me they're short ones. And then I know what I've got and where. I've got that camera just... That preview looks so much better. Every time I look over, it's just... This is much better. Blue filter on my screen, so everything just looks warm. Fair. Blue filter's a good idea. I approve of blue filter. Did anyone know that Ratio used to manufacture steam engine kits as well as rolling stock kits? Give me 2 seconds and I shall be right back to answer that question. And I'm back. And the answer is, yes, I did know that. Because I have one. I definitely paid more than $11.99 for it though. Although honestly, I don't think I paid a huge amount more for it. And I even have in here some nice scale link wheels for it. So at some point, look at it, it will be a very nice model. Change of venue, and now I see the green. Is this for the Magical Midland layout? It is indeed. I picked it up, most of it. It's got the motor and everything in there. It's the full kit. The only thing extra I've had to buy for it was the wheels, which I probably would have replaced anyway, because I've been told the Ratio wheels weren't much good. Right, Gary is going Midland. Indeed. In fact, that is what the whole series is called. I think there is a playlist on the channel called Gary Goes Midland. There's definitely a thread on RMWeb called Gary Goes Midland. I've got an idea of what I'm doing for that layout now as well. Because we decided some time ago that it's going to be an engine shed layout. And there is a shed that I have now got the track plan for to use for that. I still have it unassembled and wheels supplied with mine, luckily. Excellent. Well, hey, and there is a link from Alex. Thank you very much. To Gary Goes Midland, a charity project, which has been delayed immensely by COVID. So that sucks a bit. But I am now working on it. I've got all the buildings for the layout now as well. Or at least most of them. I don't know if I ever posted that in the thread. But when I started in the shop, we had all the buildings I was recommended to get for it. Just sat there. And it's like, well, I will be having those then. And hydration is important, everybody. Well, hey, which video is that, Alex? Is that the project overview or one of the others? I can't remember if I've done 2 or 3 of those. I've done a project overview, I've done a stock overview. I can't remember if I've done anyone else. Ah, the playlist. Excellent. Thank you very much. That is very much appreciated. I hope your headache is at least slightly better than it was earlier. Right, let's get rid of all that gluey stuff. We don't need that anymore. And during this brief pause where we reorganise the workbench, let's remind everyone again, Upfield Model Railway Exhibition, 16th and 17th of October. Look, we've even got a picture of Bluebell on it. So, you know, be there. Will we one day see Gary Goes GWR series? There are no plans for one. Or maybe Gary goes NSE. Definitely not. Yeah, so the exclamation mark Uckfield is a command. There used to be one that was exclamation mark Uckfield Exhibition, which took you straight to the exhibition page on the website, which currently is not a command. I need to check the link is still right before reactivating it. But sometimes you're busy working way too many jobs to actually do these things. So, yes, workbench reorganisation. What we need is that, because we need to get some transfers on this again. Mine's attempting with LNWR again. Oh, but we will have LNWR on the Brighton layouts, Javier. I don't need a separate layout for that. So, yeah, tempt away with LNWR stuff that's on the Brighton. Right, so, I think we're going to do the other side of the tender. There we go, GWR would be a great idea. I knew you'd like that, Kevin. I knew it. You never know what might happen with future stuff. With pleasure. Should have seen that coming, shouldn't I? Yeah, it's the littlest ones. Ideally, I want it sat at about that angle. I don't think I've got anything to sit under it. We are going to start by cutting 4 corners. Because here we cut all the corners, it's much easier. Speaking of these temptations, Javier, have you seen my picture of Titan, the LNWR precursor, sat at Brighton Station? Great lines and all that. We're going to try and not spill the microset again. Evidently, the workbench, the workshop studio does not smell of microset anymore. I'm going to move the loco away. I had a terrier after all. They had 2. And I had a model of one of them. I repainted it. It's now in umber. Titan being the 440. Yes. Precursor number 7 Titan. Oh, and Alex has a link to it. Just like that. Of course he does. Not high res that eBay quality. Wow, that's eBay for you. I like the Terriers. These I've already had one, have I not? I believe where was the other based. Once the GWR got the Terriers, because they were originally WCPR Terriers. Once they became Great Western property, they were based out of Bristol. And as it happens, the GWR essentially only bought the WCPR so that it could have those Terriers. It scrapped. They scrapped everything else and only ever used the line for storage of stock. So even the Great Western knew what great engines the Terriers were, buying a whole railway just so they could get their hands on two of them. Weren't they on the same line? Yes, they were WCPR and then into Great Western ownership, where they lived the rest of their days at Bristol. Which, of course, means anyone that happens to live in Bristol should definitely have some Terriers. Not worry, Alex, it's eBay's fault for being stinky. It always is. It's always eBay's fault, unless it's YouTube's fault. Pretty sure that rule applies to life quite well. Who was trying to say I was wrong? I see someone saying I wasn't wrong. So who was saying I was? Oh, I have a picture of an O class up in front of me. Handrail knob cuttage was based on that. For those wondering. And in fact, it's a nice SER liveried one, so the livery I'm applying is also based on that picture up there. No, don't apply the transfer to the tweezers. Apply to the loco with the tweezers. I nearly knocked the micro set over again. That would have been silly, wouldn't it? So it is 10:30, which raises the question, what is everyone else up to this evening whilst I work away on the own class? Please do tell me. I like hearing about your projects and other things you get up to whilst you are watching the live stream. It is always interesting. Post them where I can see them, YouTube. I know what I want to do. I want to hit that button there, and that will bring them in. There we go. I've been setting up point position feedbacks for central part of my fiddle yard. Ah, excellent. I approve of fiddle yard progress. Reading through the new Iron Hands rulebook that I got today. Excellent. Always good to know the rules, then you can play. Just done some watching up. Very exciting. That is super exciting. Most exciting thing I've heard all night. Revamp chassis, probably followed by an inspector rail bus commission. Ooh, very nice. You know where the progress things must go, have you? Fiddle yard progress is the best sort of progress. Well, I don't know. I mean, other track progress is also good, as is scenery progress once the track's done. A little bit more work on the F9 body shield. Excellent. I look forward to seeing more pictures of it when it gets further. And you should post more pictures of your layout to Discord, James. Just saying. Yes, into the Magic Discord channel. Exactly. It's always great seeing stuff posted there. It's like classic Oak Hill works, everything being so yellow on the screen, isn't it? Definitely much better than it was before when it was trying to sort it out itself. Though. I'll add the She's come along rapidly due to having no dimensions known. Fair enough. Rats in for modelling for tonight. I've just completed 2 ratio cattle wagons while I try to decide what conversion projects to start next. Ah, excellent. I have lots of those ratio cattle wagons in the shop. Only not in ratio boxes. Actually, I might have in ratio boxes. I've got all sorts of old kits in there. Oh, this transfer is going to be fun because it came off at such an angle, which was my fault, admittedly. But it's not the point. That went exactly how I hoped it would, leaving the transfer nowhere near where it needs to be. There we go, much better. I suppose you've got any Cooper Craft kits? I do not. I have no Cooper Craft kits whatsoever. I can't use a wet paintbrush to smooth out the transfer. Didn't need smoothing out. It had gone up along here in a curvy shape, almost as extreme as what I'm showing there, actually. So I just lifted the whole thing and put it down straight. But no, I don't have that. No, I don't. I had a Cooper Craft kit, but it's sold. I can't remember what it was. Hydration is important. Have to attain some problem in the wagons to carry food for poor cattle next. Good idea, but have you seen the rules on carrying cattle and what you're allowed to do with them? You probably don't need food. I am not a fan. Even now, our standards for carrying cattle by rail are a bit what the heck. Or transporting them by any means, actually. It's not just rail. Did you know that when transporting livestock in the UK, you are allowed to leave them with no food or water for 24 hours? I'll let that sink in. Again, still better than rules carrying passengers by rail in many senses. I don't think that one I just pointed out is. For cattle, I like milk. As do I. Milk is good. cheese and yogurt. Yes, all these things are good, especially cheese. Cheese is great. That's quite a long unfooded period. It is, isn't it? But it's one of those things that I look at that and I'm like, what? How is that legal? How is that a rule that's like, yeah, that's fine? Why would we need to give them food and water? Railways aren't required to feed their passengers at all. There's also minimum space requirements per animal, but not per human. How often do they hold passengers unfooded and unwatered for 24 hours? I'm sure you'll find, whilst there may not be a direct requirement for it, if you were stuck on a train for 24 hours, there would be something somewhere that said they had to feed and water you. But yeah, the reason there's no space requirements for humans, though, is because humans are capable of making the decision to get into the space themselves. I'm not convinced I agree with that rule, but that is the theory behind there being no minimum space requirements. That was great. I had that perfectly lined up and it got stuck to the tweezers and pulled off when I lifted them. Can't actually think of any journey that could reasonably get anywhere near 24 hours by rail. No, neither can I. We had loads of sheep around here, but it's easier to get New Zealand lamb than local meat in the shops. Gets put on lorries and driven 3 or 4 days to Turkey. Yeah, I think certainly up until the end of last year, we had a lot more New Zealand lamb than anything local. And there are farms within walking distance of my house that do those. This is the theory behind it. If the train is too crowded, wait for the next one, which will be just as crowded and make you late for work. Yeah, that's the one. That is the one, Lily. This is why I don't agree with these theories, but that is the theory behind them. Gosh, will Harrow's actually unpainted brass on this locomotive? No, not a chance. We will have to paint them, but not right this second. Turkey made from lamb, now that's clever. Oh, oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear. But yeah, you're right, that is rather clever. Well, you've heard of turkey ham, now try some turkey lamb. There we go, got the micro set where we want it. What do we reckon the chances are we'll get this transfer where we want it without any difficulties? Carla, I can see the lining I've just put on in the preview camera. You couldn't get that before, could you? Next thing we'll know, blooming YouTube will actually make that 1080p option available that I in theory stream in. Yeah, you're right, that's never happening. Stupid YouTube. Genuinely annoys me that you can't watch in 1080p as well. Won't it be great when this transfer stuff is all done? And we don't have to do this anymore. Does the tender rear need lining too? I don't know. I assume it does, but I've not seen a photo to confirm or deny. And I can probably get away with not doing it. Just it would be great when all this fiddle yard stuff is done, I suppose. Well, yes, that too. But yeah, I'd love to answer that question properly, Linny, but yeah, I have no idea. That's not how I want you to go on their transfer. That's also not. It's very clever that you can stand up on your side. It's not very helpful. I do think we're getting to a point in this project now that we can start seriously talking about what we want to see me do next, though. Which does raise the question of, do we finally, after, we're now 110 episodes into this, back in episode 2, I showed a layout that was due to be built. Do we want to see some layout work? And if so, at what point in the layout's construction do we want to start? While I'm putting more of that on there, I need to cut more transfers out first. Next project, track lane. Yes, I definitely approve of layout live streams. So, at the moment, the layout is bare baseboards. I need to put some underlay on those baseboards. That underlay needs track. I need to drill the holes for the point motors. Bearing in mind I glue the underlay on and I glue the track on. Do you use a whole layout cork covering? No. I cut my cork to shape to go underneath the track with a slight edge on either side so that the scenery can be dropped down a bit or built up depending on how I want it. But yeah, bearing in mind that I do stick down underlay and track with glue, where do we want to start? Because I do have all the track and all the point motors now. So we could build the layout. Wiring perhaps. So wiring, that's an interesting one. Unless sticking down will take 3 hours. So wiring, I do as I'm sticking it down. So I solder the wires to the bottom of the rails and then stick the rails down. So the thing is, we don't have to have the whole stream on the layout. I could wire. Yes, I do that too. Well, hey, I'm not the only one. I could wire up the track and stick it down on stream, and if it only takes us 2 hours, we could do something else. Part layout, part kitten painting. That's very possible, James. It's very, very possible. But basically, what I'm hearing here is get the cork down and start then. Would we agree with that? Part layout, part cute animal video. Well, we'll see quite how cute the kittens look when I'm done painting them. That sounds about right. Okay. James likes that idea. Anyone else? Because, you know, I do want your opinions on this. Could assemble a building or two whilst you're waiting. I'm not sure I've got any buildings to assemble for it at the moment. But I have what could be called time filler projects. So we get to a point where there is, sorry, I need to go to bed, feel awful, feeling ill. This humidity's giving me a good kick in. Good night, Alex. I hope you feel better in the morning. Sleep well, etc., etc. So yeah, for example, if we get all the track wired and laid, and then we find we've got an hour left, we reach over to the side and pull out a 3D printed wagon to work on, which can then run on the layout once the layout's done. And we've got the kittens to do. Can't see a cute kitten swinging a pickaxe, to be honest. And we've got another wagon. And would you believe, to a degree, we have another wagon. I think you see what I'm getting at here. I have projects we can do. Oh, because it was stored in the same box as that last one, and we know James will appreciate seeing it because of all the things I say. We have an Engage Gladstone that I scratch built. The goodiest of evenings to you all. How is everybody? Hello, Thomas. I am well. How are you? That's why it's not just the droppers, but the electronics. Yes, of course, there is more to do. On the layout than just droppers. But of course, doing the droppers at that point, you can't go on straight and do the rest of it. Proof of Engaged Gladstones, I recall this, it is very cute. It is. One day, I will try and finish it. Now, apparently you need an SER brake van to go with those lovely SER locos and wagons. I do, you're right. I have an SECR brake van or two. I don't have an SER one. I should, however, now pull this transfer out the water. It's been in there quite some time. Wiring stream week after next. It's quite possible. Do you do point position feedback? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. I think most likely yes on this layout. Because it is designed for people who do not know what they're doing to play with. Yeah, that transfer's not a big fan of being in the water that long, is it? I can't imagine why. What's with the white on the wheels? White on the wheels? There's no white on the wheels. What you're seeing is the flanges and the bits that run on the rails that are silver. They're just very, very dull. They're not white. Might as well got Smigglesleaf Station to finish painting. Well, get it painted. Right. This one can go in the water and not get left for quite so long, as we discussed the fact I have a million projects literally sat next to me. I've got some southeastern locos up here to do stuff on as well. We definitely need more of that, don't we? Painting and lining. I'm sure you'll all love to see that some more. Before you worry too much, these ones are going to get done off camera. This way round. Get in there. God, look how clear you can see that lining on the camera, even out of focus. God, that makes me happy. I'm so glad I took the chance on playing with that to see if I could earlier. Huzzah for lining indeed. So you missed all the fun earlier. Because we did some actual work on the loco and stuff earlier as well, Thomas. We gave it handrails and a smoke box dart, and we broke the safety valve and fixed it and all sorts. No, I'm pretty sure that was it. But look at how nice the loco's looking. Sorry, I've been trying to figure things out in one of my Blender messages. Hey, don't be sorry. That's just silly. That's pretty. Oh, I hope everyone can see now why I've wanted one of these for so long, to be the Southeastern Goods engine on Oak Hill. Because I do genuinely prefer this to the C-Class. Just don't tell the C-Class that, it might get upset. And as long as it runs alright, it'll be fine. Don't go telling me I should have, like, checked how it run before cutting up the chassis and stuff. Because you know I'm not that organised. Other than the fact it pulled all the water down to this end and slid away on it, that went really well. There we go. Double line in. C-class is sad with that statement. It wishes for coal as compensation. My C-class has real coal in its tender. It's fine. But also it's got the knowledge that everyone has a C-class. Not quite as many people have one of these. Which probably means it wins some form of popularity contest. Probably also quite happy in the knowledge that, you know, it was built to replace these. And well, look what later happened to most of them. Practically became the same loco. This does not want to cooperate. It really doesn't want to cooperate. There is a bit of transfer here that won't come off. I really can't get it anywhere useful because it's too small. So I'd much rather get it off. As the great Chuck Ross once said, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. They said that more than once. There we go. Bent the tips a bit and now it worked. Don't beat up the camera. That's the first time tonight I've beat up the camera. Are you all impressed that I made it this far? We could avoid ruining the lining, that would be great. I know we want the worn and old look, but by the time Oak Hill's set, it hasn't been repainted for a good few years, but that's not the point. Poor camera, it's not an egg. Firstly, how do you know it's not an egg? Secondly, don't beat up eggs. Just beat them. But yeah, don't go assuming my camera's eggness. The poor thing. How else am I meant to make mashed eggs? But I mean, if you're making mashed eggs, one would mash them. Just saying. You could beat them if you want to make scrambled eggs, but you could also do it the other way. Because you can scramble an egg in its shell. Gone from milk to eggs will be an entire cake before long. Oh dear. I would like to deny any rumours that I have had an entire cake. I had one slice. It was just a very large slice. Actually, it wasn't. I had a tiny slice of cake. I do remember though, somehow I managed to spin an egg just right. The inside colours change places. No. You cannot make the colours change places. You can, however, spin them just right that they scramble inside the shell. And so the whole thing goes yellow. Cake is tasty. Cake is indeed tasty. The best things about cake are that it tastes of cake and it's made of cake. Yes, those are both big pluses of cake. I did this really weird thing earlier and had the suggested serving amount of cake. Oh, I want to make a long egg sometime. Go on then. Get it made, Linny. Get it made. Yeah, well, we had a cake that said it serves 22 and it was cut into 22 slices and served 22 people. It was weird. Are there other amounts of cake? Yes. There's the suggested serving amount and there's the amount you should really eat. Shall we talk about sugar and flour to have the ingredients for a cake? Well, I have almost zero sugar in my diet. It's weird. I know. The only sugar I have is in desserts. There you go. We've talked about sugar. Got to be up for work tomorrow, so I have to call it night. See you all on Discord tomorrow. Good night, Red. Sleep well. And all those other things. And don't work too hard, obviously. Which reminds me, Paderborn, have you seen the time? If you're still here. Suggested serving cake's pitiful. If you're not getting it all over your face, what's the point? I know, right? I totally agree. But the suggested serving for most things is pitiful. And of course, it's pitiful on purpose. Because if your suggested serving size is smaller, you can say it's healthier. Because, you know, if you cut a cake in half, it's only half the calories, so you can have twice as much. Hydration is important. Time for some more corners. Does the double liner line on the upper side of the tender towards the rear of the tender need adjusting? Ideally, it needs adjusting towards the front, actually. But yeah, I probably should, because it's about the best spaced bit of the lot. I have to put some more of this on it. But yes, you are quite right. Ideally, it would all be how that is, but it's just not within my skill level to do so. That looks better. Well, they can suggest while I digest the cake, that is. Yeah, yeah, fair enough. But yeah, the spacing on the double lining here is one of those moments of it's better to be consistent than accurate. Did I make that a command? I think I did, didn't I? I honestly can't remember if I set up the consistency command. Consistency is more important than accuracy, unless you can be consistently accurate. There we go, see? I did. Have you never heard my consistency saying before, Thomas? Because it's true, you know. Consistency is vastly more important than accuracy. No, not till tonight. Ah, fair enough. It is one of my lesser used phrases, but it is something I have said numerous times. It is one of my first bits of advice to people when they're trying to get everything absolutely perfect. So no, don't go for perfect, go for what you can do. Because consistency is more important than accuracy. And it's why I tend to not mix different brands of carriage in one train, for example. Let's put another one of these in here and we'll cut another one off, because that one was ruined. Good evening, Harry. Good evening, Andy. How are you? I hope you are well. Do you think that the consistency accuracy thing applies to sound fitting too? I wouldn't bother sound fitting if it couldn't be accurate, to be honest. But I think it applies to most things. Mistakes are much less likely to be noticed if they are consistent and everything is wrong in the same way. So, a train of 4 carriages where all 4 are unlined looks better than a train of 4 carriages where 3 are lined and 1 is not. Now, obviously, that doesn't apply if one of them is supposed to be unlined. Great, thanks. Just mowed a large lawn. Ready to not move again today. Excellent. I wish I could mow my lawn. I've been trying to do it for weeks, but it keeps raining. A Triang 3F tender engine looks better next to another Triang 3F tender engine than it does next to a Bachmann one. And the same can apply in general across locos of different classes. If all your locos are low detail, they look better than if one of them stands out as being super high detail. That last example is kind of obvious, though, the two are chalk and cheese. Yeah, but it applies in general. A Triang 3F tender engine looks better sat next to a Triang West Country than it does next to a Bachmann Tornado, because the level of detail is consistent. And it looks better pulling Triang Mark 1s than it does pulling Bachmann Mark 1s. And for that matter, a rake of Triang Mark 1s looks better on its own than if you add a single Bachmann Mark 1 into it. All the Triang ones immediately look worse as soon as that Bachmann one turns up. Still find it intriguing how different the Hornby Bachmann Ginties are. Like in all extra details, the Hornby one looks like it's had too much cake compared to the Bachmann one. Not sure what's funnier, the Hornby Ginty eating cake or there being a thing called too much cake. Corollary of that principle, of course, means that improving one carriage means that one has to do it for all of them, which is why I recently bought 128 DCC light bars. Yes, James, exactly that. If you improve one, you need to improve them all. Thank you for perfect example. You're not what I was after. Where's the one I'm after? I've obviously put it somewhere else. Perfectly good. Stroudley carriage. Straight out the box. Once you put it next to one that's had proper grab handles and footboards and such added to it, it doesn't look as good. They're practically the same carriage, but those extra details make this one look worse. And yet it looks fine on its own. A rake of those carriages as they come from Hornby looks absolutely fine, but once you've improved one, the issues with them show up more. So you notice them, so they don't look as good. Even the memory of the improved one makes the original look less than ideal. Exactly. And it looked... The original looked fine until the improved one came out. Memories over time distort. Indeed they do. But that is why consistency is more important than accuracy. If I improve mine, the most I'm doing is trimming the footboard pegs to bring them up flush with the original chassis and blobbing some solder on the buffers. That's fair. The footboards will still be too short because they should overhang, but it will be a vast improvement over the position Hornby put them in. And of course that is why I have a load of 3D printed footboards ready to go on them. I've just got to find the time to sit and record another video. Because as I've said before, I will do a video improving one of them, as well as the live stream I did. The video obviously having some of the work cut out and being much shorter. Until I've done that, I don't want to improve any more of them. Because I know what I'm like, I'll get carried away and improve the lot and then have nothing to film the video with. Although for those that want to see what I did to them and don't want to sit through the live stream that I did, there is now a written version of my how to improve with pictures, not many admittedly, in the latest edition of the Brighton Circle Modeller's Digest. That is issue 13. It includes my review of them. So, you know, check that out. It also tells you where I sourced the parts from. Although I'd be lying if I told you I could remember whether I included links to that. I included links to the YouTube, and I'm pretty sure my RM web written review for some reason. Which of course, the Modeller's Digest review is an updated and improved version of that review. So I've suddenly got TT scale bug. I swear I'm going to end up with 8 scales eventually. That's a bit of a harder one to scratch though. Now if you want anything more modern than Triang, you're making it yourself. But it is a very nice scale. I used to help out with a man, his TT layouts, Peter North he was called. Unfortunately, he passed away earlier this year. Very talented modeler he was. Happy with Triumph for now. I have ironically seen the TT E2 kit. Yes, the TT E2 kit's quite an old one. That's been about for a... that goes back a long time. Indeed, rest in peace. As I say, he's a very talented modeller and a very nice guy. If I wasn't already so heavily invested in 4 mil when I met him, there's a very good that I would have been ATT gauge modeler. No, actually, I probably would have been 3 mil fine scale, which is what he actually was. But yeah, that was a sad day when I found out we had lost him. He was due at Uckfield this year with a brand new layout. It's funny how seeing certain models work pushes you in one direction or another at an impressionable age. It is indeed, isn't it? Disapprove of dying, rest in peace. Yes, as do I. I've got his name wrong though. We should clarify that. I've got his name wrong. The name I gave was another very talented modeller, and I would have been called up on it if it wasn't for the fact that Alex has already left. And he is a very talented modeller that is still with us. Peter Bossum was the name that I meant to say. It was only the surname I said wrong. But that definitely needed clarifying. The man whose name I gave originally is an HO scale modeller. Also very talented. Scarily talented, in fact. I approve of talented, yes. Saying that he definitely is. Hydration is important. There goes the microset again. The workbench is going to smell for another week. God, who's going to be first with the command? It's going to be Thomas. Well done. I knew I was asking for trouble by not putting the lid on it every time I've stopped using it. But I thought, nah, it's far enough back over there. It'll be fine. And clearly I was right. Luckily, we lost so much out of that bottle last time that we lost barely anything out of it there, because there's essentially nothing left to lose. Since no one else did it, then heard who's going to be first. I was like, yeah, gotta do it now. Well, I knew someone had to. It's the rules. That is why I make these commands. But yes, how very annoying. I'm sure it was someone else's fault, not mine. So if you can find out whose fault it was and let me know, that'd be really appreciated. But yeah, every time I open this door to come in here for the next week, it's going to smell of vinegar. I'm kind of curious to know what it is they put in this that makes it smell of vinegar. Because I'm sure it's not actually made of vinegar. But yeah, anyway, as I was saying, Peter North, the name I first gave, very talented HO modeler. Who was once challenged and told, I bet you couldn't do this detail that you do with British outline. Because obviously, being HO, he's an American modeler. And he took up the challenge to do what he does in 4mm and made a Southern Railway layout around an aerodrome in Kent, and then sold it off after 2 exhibitions and went back to his American stuff. Because he'd proved his point. Let's see if anyone finds that story familiar. That explains where Aerodrome Park comes from. It does indeed. Which, we should point out, is a layout that I have operated at an exhibition along with its owner, and at the time owner and builder. Who happens to have the same first name as the person I was talking about, which is why I got the names mixed up. And I'll tell you what, Alex nearly missed out on that layout. Because I nearly bought it off him at that show when I was operating it. It's very satisfying when the A3 size deep drawer that was once full to the brim of servo mounts is now getting decidedly empty. Yes, it is. I always like that as you're running out of materials and you're like, this means I'm nearly done. It's always a great feeling, isn't it? You know, provided it's not running out because you need to buy more and you've got hundreds left to go anyway. It's less satisfying if it means you have to buy stuff. Still quite a few quadrangles to go, but none as intense as 17. That is good. That is very good. So we have 7 minutes to go. Who thinks I can finish this section of double lining before we end tonight? Fortunately, I bought all the stuff that I needed for the wiring a while ago. That is good. I approve of being prepared in advance and already owning all the stuff you need. 7 counting. No, it's an O, not a P. I still don't know what I'm going to do with my kit build pen. It has no need to exist anymore, because it's the same number and livery as one of the Hatton's ones that I've got. Even I have a P. Indeed you do, and you repainted it and lined it yourself. See, I know these things. No, I don't want to renumber the Hatton's one. The Hatton's one is better detail. Didn't repaint, just lied. Ah, fair enough. My kit built one, it's in Wainwright livery. It's the first loco I ever lined, which makes me not want to repaint it. But the Hatton's ones are so much better. And you know what? By itself, it looks really good. But when you put it next to a Hatton's one, it doesn't, because consistency is more important than accuracy. From one line back to line black and well remembered. Renumber the kit one. Surely you can renumber that. I mean, I might end up doing that. There is a very good chance that is what I will end up doing. And it will obviously be the easier job, because all I will need to do is take off the number transfers that it's got and apply some nice etched numbers to it. Sorry about being quiet, I was reading the Circle Digest. Fair enough. Have you read both my articles? Make sure you read both my articles. I put 2 articles in there to make it better at the same time. Even better, that would be a good stream project. I've done renumbering SECR locos on stream though. We had an evening of that. So once you get South Park Quarry, you can have a mini running session whenever you finish a locomotive. I could. That is a very good point, James. And that would be excellent. Once I've built South Park Quarry, I could do running videos. Nothing to do for a Tuesday video. Let's just do some shunting and film it. Indeed, and I'd stay alive. Anything. Give the Gladstone transfers a look in the morrow. Fair enough. Probably the best since it's the morrow in 13 seconds. Make it all run very well. Oh, I think it will all run very well anyway. There's going to be no dead spots on the track for South Park Quarry. So we shouldn't have any problems with that, even without stay alives. Can't help oxidation build up. No, I can clean the track. Yeah, I know it's pumpkin time. The pumpkins can wait. I've got this one and the other sides to put on to finish this panel, and then I can put microsol over the whole panel. Unless your track and wheels are made of silver or gold. Unfortunately not. My track is made of nickel silver because Pico. But being such a small layout, a quick clean before each running session won't be a problem. And also put microsol over the workbench. I don't know what would give you the idea I would do that, James. No idea whatsoever. Hold off on the pumpkins. Frets of flying pies. We're definitely going to finish this loco next week, though. Just saying that now. And then the week after it'll be layout time. Scary stuff. I've wanted to build this layout for so long, and we're actually going to do it. Yay. Let's get the microsol on, and then we can say our goodbyes. I think we've done quite well this evening. No, don't do that. I think we've done quite well this evening, though. even if we are going to destroy this transfer right at the end. I should have known that was going to happen. It's happened every week. I've shifted one slightly as I've been putting the microsol on. So I should have been prepared for that. That's my own fault. It'll do. It will indeed be fine with a bit of weathering. Lids on. We are done. Get rid of the cutting mat. And we have a loco. A loco with handrails and all sorts of details. We have a tender. With handrails and details. What if you ran a hairdryer over the transfers first before applying the microset? Maybe, but it's a resin loco, so I'd probably melt the loco a bit as well, which wouldn't be as good. But we have got the final details applied to the loco and tender today. It is just transfers, fitting the DCC, and and the springs, which can now go on because the transfers in front of them, behind them, are done, and then fitting the drawbar for the tender, adding coal, adding a crew. That's not really a lot. I'm pretty sure we will get her done next week, and then we can get on to building that layout. Got no dome, never trust domeless engines, they're not respectable. It'll get one later in its life. This loco will get a dome in March 1912. DCC fit. Did I not say DCC fitting? But yes, DCC fitting as well. I have a chip for it. So yes, there we are. She's looking fantastic. I'm going to take a picture of her in a second and put it on Discord. So if you are not already on my Discord, oakhillmodelrailway.co.uk/Discord to join the Discord server. It's a fantastic community. Get in there now. But yes, for tonight we are done. It is nearly 10 past midnight. I would like to thank you all for coming. It has been absolutely fantastic. I have had a wonderful time. We've made great progress. We have decided what our next project's going to be, and it's going to be a big one. And I cannot wait to get going with it. But for now, yeah, thank you for coming. I've been Gary. This has been Let's Build. You've been awesome. Good night.